Throughout our analysis of AccleRacers, we've discovered many things. How Galoran was potentially the hero of her story, how Godin was technically more human than we thought, why the Silencers won, and much more. However, there is one thing that needs to be analysed more, and that's Dr. Tezla. Dr. Tezla is a character that everyone loves to hate. The overall consensus on Tezla was that he was selfish for his odyssey into the world of the Accelerons. Even in my own interpretations, I have believed that Tezla was one of the most unethical people on Earth, sacrificing his drivers just to get a glimpse of the Accelerons. But like my previous perspective on Kadim, I was wrong. Maybe if we go a bit deeper we can understand Tezla and understand why he acts the way he does, and this all stems from the world race. As we see in the opening, Tezla fails to remotely control his car to finish the first leg of the world race, which brings him to get the best drivers in the world to enter and compete in the leg. Drivers which can be the means to get the Wheel of Power which he has failed in so many times in getting. Tezla needs a new type of driver, and if that means that the current drivers he has found can't make it, there's always new drivers, new types of drivers, willing to be the best to compete in the leg. The same can't be said about the cars. Tezla doesn't have unlimited resources nor unlimited cars. There are 7 billion people in the world and only 35 indestructible world race cars, which is why he makes them indestructible. Indestructible to make them reusable. Reusable in the case that the current drivers fail or potentially die so that the new drivers can use them. When Banji enters the first leg of the world race, Tezla prioritizes the cars over the drivers, scolding Banji for putting their cars at risk. Tezla doesn't trust people, but he trusts machines. He trusts Gig. He trusts his cars. Maybe because he created them while he didn't create the people. Maybe when Banji says that rules are meant to be broken, Tezla has broken his own rules, his own moral rules. Luckily we never saw that darker side of Tezla in the world race, because if all the drivers did fail and did die in the world race, I truly believe he would try and reuse the cars to get the Wheel of Power. So although Tezla may be good at heart, he is misguided in the means to be good. And then AccleRacers comes along and shows another side of Tezla. We see throughout the series that he prioritizes the AccleChargers over the drivers. But why? Before I thought it was just because he prioritized the Accelerons over everyone else, which is why he kept the AccleChargers. Before I thought he always prioritized meeting the Accelerons just because they were an old ancient civilization and therefore Tezla was obsessed with them, willing to sacrifice his friends to meet them. But that may not be the case. Maybe Tezla has a burden of saving the world from the drones. If we really think about Tezla, he never has dreams about meeting the Accelerons, but rather nightmares about the drones. Nightmares because he's always thinking about the drones and how to stop them. Maybe this manifests in his nightmares. So if we look at this at a different light.
If you knew how important the AccleChargers are...
Why don't you just tell me, Dr. Tezla? Just what is it the drones are going to do if they get them all?
I don't know! The more I study it, the less I understand. I only know what I have to do.
Things start to fall in place like a jigsaw. Maybe he doesn't actually care about the Accelerons at all, but just stopping the drones. He has PTSD from the start of Ignition, getting crippled from trying to escape a drone. The drone which causes trauma and fear of the drones enough to want to stop them. If you were beaten to a pulp, barely escaping from a murderous robot, you would be crippled, not just physically, but mentally. This made him obsessed with the drones, obsessed to stop the drones. Anything to do with the drones he wanted to stop, including the Accelerons. So throughout the realms we see the drones as unstoppable as well. We see them have powers that our drivers are no match for. Tezla repeatedly has those same nightmares, the AccleCharger nightmares, where AccleChargers are used to defeat him and the drivers. And in real time the drones are consistently using the AccleChargers to win, and so maybe Tezla sees that the only way to win consistently is through the AccleChargers. Which is why when Nolo wins one, then he implements the EDRs, because the AccleChargers can enable the drivers to win rather than through skill, but through the powers. Because taking the same concept from the world race, the drivers are replaceable. There are always a variety of drivers with different skills that can potentially win. However, the AccleChargers will always have the same abilities and therefore the same consistency. Tezla doesn't believe in the driver's skill but the power of the AccleChargers. AccleChargers which can win more realms and stop the drones. Let's not forget about Banji, Alec and Dresden that were also lost in the realms, which could further be the starting point of seeing that the drivers mean nothing and the AccleRacers mean everything. If the best drivers can't win against the drones, maybe the AccleRacers can. He has misplaced faith. From misplaced faith from machines to misplaced faith in the Accelerant technology. Therefore, Tezla may not be unethical to be selfish, but be unethical to save everyone else from the drones. However, when we reach the end of the series, he starts to have faith in Vert, pushing him to race in the ultimate race, and when Vert reaches the Accelerants, Tezla's PTSD and trauma comes back to haunt him, until it made sense to Tezla. The Accelerants are the key to stopping the drones. If Vert can go with the Accelerants, the creators of the drones, can stop the drones. By the end of the film, Tezla attempts to kill himself to destroy the Acceledrome to stop the drones. If Tezla is willing to sacrifice himself and everything else to stop the drones, then maybe that isn't selfish. Maybe Tezla has justified his decisions, maybe not. But Tezla is not unethical for a reason, and that's why he's misunderstood.